to the Philippines now. Stocks may rise again after surging yesterday on
And another big mover today, the Philippine peso gaining for a fifth the day.
2010 was a good year for the Philippines. Despite the challenging global economic environment, the country sustained strong levels of growth, the strongest since 1976. The year 2010 also marked the beginning. With a new leadership in place, there is a new way of doing business in the Philippines. Under new management, good governance and a more level playing field are the new priorities. A change for the better. The focus is on transparency and reforming policies to provide longer-term solution to poverty.
The goal of President Aquino is to create a new future for our country, for our people. Create a future where there will be less poverty, where everyone will have equal opportunity, where transactions are done in daylight rather than in backroom deals, in midnight transactions.
Rapid, sustainable, broad-based economic growth is the new agenda. The new economic managers are tasked to build on the resilience of the Philippine economy and lead the country's advance towards a faster, sustainable growth trajectory. In 2010, the Philippine economy grew 7.3%, the highest in 34 years, signaling that the country is on a path of strong recovery.
We actually did quite well for several reasons. Among others, the continued inflow of Filipino workers abroad. Second, also the increased confidence brought about by the coming of a new government.
Growth was broad-based, led by services, consumption, industry, and investments. GDP growth was also boosted by the strong recovery of exports. Economic indicators all point in the right direction.
We saw the ideal convergence of rapid growth and low inflation in 2010. And I would say that part of the reason for this was well-calibrated policies, including monetary policy, which resulted in the inflation rate remaining at below the midpoint of the inflation target for the year. In fact, the average inflation rate for 2010 was 3.8%.
Domestic interest rates remained supportive of growth. In November last year, Standard & Poor's upgraded the country's sovereign ratings. Moody's also recently changed the country's credit outlook to positive, signaling a possible rating upgrade in the coming months.
We also made sure that there was ample liquidity in the financial system. And this allowed credit to continue to flow to the various productive sectors and for the economy to grow as a result.
The sound and stable banking system fueled economic expansion and remained the primary source of credit for the economy. Bank deposits, lending, and profitability posted healthy growth rates throughout the year, even during the time when many of the world's biggest economies and biggest banks were reeling from the global crisis.
The banks also exhibited improved profitability. In fact, it was probably 2010 was probably one of the best years for the Philippine banks.
Filipinos are earning more foreign exchange, boosting our external payments position and enabling the country to cope with external shocks.
We saw the BOP register an unprecedented surplus of over $14 billion during the year. This allowed us to build up our gross international reserves to an all-time high of $62.4 billion. This is equivalent to about 10 months of imports of goods and services. So overall, the external liquidity position of the economy continued to be quite favorable.
The sound external position supported the exchange rate. the peso remained competitive compared to its neighbors in the region. Our government also paid good attention to the bellwether issues which are key creditor and investor concerns.
It has also gone on a campaign of increased governance and its anti-corruption efforts. This is again part of this overall change in economic environment.
A clear political commitment to ensure fiscal sustainability. The challenge ahead is to intensify revenue collections and keep spending within manageable levels.
Customs was, I think, up 17% against last year, and BIR was up 9% against last year. On average, both were up 11% on a combined basis. And we've proven all those pessimistic analysts wrong. We're going to be well within the 325 billion that we set as the ceiling for the budget in 2010. And we did this with a multi-dimensional approach to fiscal consolidation. On our efforts to improve our revenue, we're focusing right now on administrative efficiency improvement by increasing the risk perception of all the players, 2, by changing the processes, 3, by investing in information technology, 4th, by using information to drive performance, and we're going to implement this over a period of time.
One of the first things that the President instructed us to do is to adopt a zero-based budgeting approach to the budget process, and that meant we had to evaluate each budget item. So we were able to cover about 60% of the major items in the budget, and that helped us a lot.